Okay, yep, this is Danganronpa, and for some god-awful reason, they've, yep, thank you, they've coded the game where the music is full blast, and until you make a save and load the save, it does not load your sound settings, which is a consistent problem in games made in Japan, because Dark Souls had the same fucking problem. I don't know where they learned the code, but you can imagine that it's like, you know, it's really good, right? Because like if you've played a game before, you've probably come across something called like a config file, which is essentially just like a notepad labeled config, where you can just go in and manipulate the parameters for like the video settings, the audio settings, and this is usually saved somewhere on your computer so that when you load the game has something to access before it's loaded to read what the settings should be upon launch, rather than having to load the settings after you've already launched the game and your speakers are completely fucking blown out. Anyway, I've always wanted to go through this game and just like kind of, you know, laugh at all the dumb moments when the stupid shit happens and the god-awful writing. You know, the game came out like a decade ago, and I figured it's been enough time, you know, that the community has had as much fun with the game as possible, and it's finally time to just like lambast this shit as much as possible. So the next time I'll see you will be when I'm making fun of something. So thanks. Well, here's the first part that's stupid in the story. Apparently the Japanese built a high school. Oh, now we're learning the attendance criteria. Excuse me, let's see what it is. You have to already be attending high school. Okay, no homeless kids that aren't in school. And 2, you have to be the very best at what you do. It's pretty hard for somebody who's like not a gymnast, right? Like, usually people peak in terms of their ability to do something after high school.
Before we go any farther, I guess I should introduce myself. My name's Makoto Naegi.
Okay, well, this is one of the deadly sins of writing, is that when you're introducing your story, you should generally not have the main character talk to the audience, because having the character address the audience, one, breaks the fourth wall, obviously, so it makes it harder to recognize the art as something that is a living world unto itself, and strips away the facade of it ever being compelling in a realistic way. Like, we know from the get-go that a person wrote this to address the audience because they thought the audience was too stupid to understand the material on their own. But on the other side of it is that the author was too incompetent to write the introduction in a way that conveyed all the information necessary while also masking this fact. So we'll see here. He's gonna like just talk at us for a while, and I'm gonna put forth my own ideas. What they should have done for the introduction is that they should have had the main character essentially reading his acceptance letter to the school, and it would be a little bit of a micro twist that he's reading all these things about the school, and it sounds like he's talking to the audience, right? But we find out, oh no, he's telling his parents that he's just got accepted into this school, and they're really excited for him, and then he has some kind of reluctant thoughts like, oh, but I don't have any special talents, and then he sees something else fall out of the letter, and it says, you know, you've been selected as the ultimate lucky student. You know, if I was a good writer, that's how I would write the introduction to the story. But instead, they didn't do that. Instead, the main character is a loser, and he goes to 2chain to figure out things. So, wait for this shit. Yeah, see, so like, instead of doing what I suggested here, they're just having him say, oh, I'm so average. Nothing cool about me, guys. And the funny thing is that this line right here is writing inconsistency. Okay? So if you if you ask me what my favorite song was, or my favorite TV show or movie, they all just be whatever's most popular at the particular moment. So he's a basic bitch, is what he's saying. But a little bit later in the game, we have the ultimate pop sensation as one of the other high schoolers, and he doesn't even know the band she's in, and he doesn't know any of their songs. But earlier he told us that he likes whatever's popular. So either the writer forgot what they wrote, or the main character lied to the audience. Which one do you think is more likely? I don't know. I think it's because the writing is dog shit. See, right here. Here it is. One of the students is the ultimate pop sensation, and she's the lead singer for a pop group famous all over the country. But he doesn't know the name of the group. How do you know? How do you say, yeah, I just like whatever's popular at the time, dog? But you don't know this group that is like the equivalent of like an NSYNC or something in Japan. Oh no, the main character flushed himself down a toilet. See, this is just shit writing. Jeez, this hallway is kind of weird, too. First off, none of the other hallways that he's seen yet are weird. This is the first one that he's seen that is weird since he's been incapacitated. Second off, it's like fluorescent pink. Like, it was like the game was written well before any art assets were done at all. And then they just kind of like crammed it into the script, or they crammed the script into the game, because like you could just write this so much better. Like, why is everything pink? You know, like when you write a character who is describing the world in such weak generalizations, you don't really feel like the characters even experience the world that they're in. There's a complete disconnect there. The things that the characters are saying should not be self-evident. The things characters are saying should be meaningful things relating to how the character feels about the circumstances that they're in. What the fuck is up with this guy's turd hair that's coming out of his head? It's like 1,000 spiders are trying to like detach themselves from his skull. What the fuck? It literally looks like he's got feces stalactites like dripping off of his, like, what the fuck were they thinking? The writing is literally like telling you what's happening instead of like having the character having any kind of like anything meaningful to say about what's going on is the problem. It's just like the main character's just narrating to us what's going on. And I guess I understand why this game has been so popular for so many people, is because it's like a game that's like written at a 5th grade level. So a lot of people who like dropped out of school because they just like wanted to coom all day, like they could play the game and understand it. Oh my god, the game is telling me that conversations are important. Jesus Christ, they have no faith in their audience.
Hi, I'm Sayaka Mizono. I look forward to getting to know you.
Yeah, sure.
Not that you'll remember my name anyway, but...
Holy shit, this character is a walking fucking meme. How do you write a character like this?
I'm Toko Fukawa.
Oh my god. Oh, of course, she's the writing prodigy, and she's super shy, and she's got the social anxieties. Isn't that unique? Wow. The fucking so lame. What the fuck? I don't care. Shut up. Oh my god. I don't need you to info dump. How about, you know what would have been better instead of having the main character? Like, so the main character learned about a lot of the people that he was going to be going to school with from 2chan. So he read about them online, right? And this is the information he learned about them online. Okay, I don't need this information anymore. Have them have a conversation. Let's see the conversation. Oh, nothing. Okay. Like, what the fuck happened to the art here? This is like something you see drawn in a newspaper on the comics page.
What the heck?
I like how the game assumes that the reader is so fucking stupid that they couldn't infer anything from the conversation with this character about her being insecure, so they had to come and spell it out to us. Like, the main character's narration could be completely erased from the game and you would lose nothing, because the narration is literally just him restating the plot and the events that happen for retards.
Ahem, ahem. Testing. Mic check 1, 2. This is a test of the school broadcast system.
They spelled Mike wrong. They spelled Mike check, like a guy named Mike check, and not microphone, which is M-I-C. Amazing. I like how the game highlights specific words or pairings of words so that like if you're a speed reader or you're too dumb to read, you can at least pick out, oh, totally normal. Oh, okay, I get it. Everything's normal.
Teddy bear?
Wow, this music is so bad tonally. It actually...
I'm not a teddy bear.
You have to choose. What is it? Like, this is your introduction of your villain character. And this is the music you pick?
I am Monokuma!
I can only assume... Shut up.
I'm this school's headmaster.
Dude, the only reason you pick this music is because you want to create a dichotomy between the frightening environment the characters are in and the kind of, you know, nonsensical, kind of fantastical tone that the bear is presenting. But the problem is that the bear is not threatening at all, other than the fact that there's like machine gun turrets that can kill you. But it's a kind of like childlike threat where it's like, oh, it's like in Twilight Zone where there's that little kid who's just like poofing people out of existence. But even he was more threatening because he wielded a threat. Where here it's just, this is, who cares? Honestly, look at him, he's dumb.
Yes, indeed.
Like, there's nothing that surprises me with the story yet. Like, when you play Virtue's Last Reward, when you play 999, which are infinitely better games than this fucking garbage, despite knowing the premise that there's some people, they're trapped in a room or in a complex, and they're gonna have to do a voting game to get out, like, you understand the premise, but as the story develops, as the voting game is introduced and everything, it kind of sets in the level of deceit you're gonna need to get out, and you see some of the characters change from how kind of nice they were at the start a little bit to like, oh, I'm kind of understanding, I'm gonna maybe need to betray some people. But here it's just like, oh yeah, you know, you're gonna have to kill each other and blah 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 blah, and it's just a full frontal ego. Whereas in Virtue's Last Reward, it's like, oh hey, like, in a symbolic way, you're betraying each other. You're betraying each other on an emotional level, on a trust level. And in this game, it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, none of that stuff. Oh, whatever, just kill each other, you know. And it's just like, that's just lazy. It's just, you're just choosing to force an act that is naturally provocative and emotionally interesting. And obviously, I mean, it's crazy because it's fucking murder, right? Whereas like in VLR, it was a prisoner dilemma's game, but it was filtered through, you know, these relationships that you build up while doing these puzzles together. You know, where this game just doesn't have any of that. It's just a bunch of jackasses who gives a fuck? Why would anybody care about each other here? Why would they care?
What are you saying?
Say what? Blabbering.
Oh no.
Blabbering. What do you mean blabbering? Stop blabbering on about blabbering on.
This might be the single worst line of dialogue I've ever seen in a movie, show, book, song, video game of all time. This school, which had come out of nowhere to raise my hopes so high, it's not a school of hope. It's a school of despair. Wow. I can't believe that. That's such good writing. They did a big twist. It was called Hope's Academy, and it was supposed to raise the hopes of the whole nation. But now, it's gonna be a school of despair. Wow. Like, this is why sound design matters, because in Virtue's Last Reward, and in 999, and in Steins Gate, the sound design enhances what you see visually and the script. But in this game, the sound design is like, it's like the sound designer was legitimately trying to fuck the tone being established by the script up as much as possible. That's the only explanation I have. I mean, You have to be trying to make something this bad, right? Oh, that's it.